Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Why don't you hit that subscribe button down below, and whilst you're there, hit that little bell icon next to it and you'll get notified of every new video I post. So today I'm going to explain Loft. I'm going to explain what it is, why it's there, how it can help you and how it might not help you. Let's get started. So what is Loft? Basically Loft is the angle of the club face relative to zero. So in a golf bag, the 14 clubs you're legally allowed to have in there should give you a nice full range of lofts to be able to use. So this will start with your least lofted club, the putter, and it will go all the way up to your most lofted club, typically the sand wedge or the lob wedge. So let's give you some standard lofts for each club in your bag. So the putter typically has 4 degrees of loft. You've got the driver, which is typically 10 degrees of loft. 3 woods or 5 woods are typically around 15 degrees of loft. The hybrid can be anywhere between 17 and 22 degrees of loft. And then you've got your 4 iron, which starts at 24 degrees of loft. And if you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those lofts will increase every 3 or 4 degrees between clubs. So your 9 iron should be around 41 to 43 degrees of loft. Then you have your pitching wedge, which is around 45 to 47 degrees. Sand wedge, which is around 56 degrees. And then if you do have it, a lob wedge, which will typically be between 58 degrees or 60 degrees. You can get some that go all the way up to 64 degrees, but you don't really need them. So with your bag of clubs, as the lofts go from highest loft down to lowest loft, the club length will actually get longer as well. That means the distance those clubs can go will be longer and longer as you go from lob wedge down to your driver. So that's the basics. Now, how can the loft help you? So we've already mentioned how lower lofts and longer clubs can get the ball to go further. So most obviously, the loft of the club will help get the ball up in the air. The higher lofted the club, the higher the ball's going to go. We want that ball to get up in the air sometimes because it's going to help us get the ball to stop once it lands. But then the opposite is also true for those less lofted, longer clubs. They're going to travel lower and they're not going to stop as quickly. So the other benefit of loft is when you apply loft with some club head speed through the ball, i.e. when you hit the ball, you're going to produce spin on the golf ball, and spin on the golf ball is what helps that golf ball stop when it comes down and lands the other end. So the height of the ball as well as the spin on the ball, both those things are going to really help the ball to stop at the other end, and loft gives you both of them. So if you have a shot and you don't have a lot of green to work with, or you don't have a lot of space to be able to stop the ball in, then the higher the loft you can use while still getting the ball to go the correct distance, the more chance you got of stopping it. So the most common way I see loft not help someone is when people get into their longer clubs, their lower lofted longer clubs. Once they get past the 6 iron, 7 iron, 6 iron, they can't get the ball to travel any further in the air. Even though they can't get any more carry on the ball, they might still get a little bit more total distance out of those shots because of the fact it's coming out lower, spinning less, and it's going to run on a little bit more. But it doesn't give them the control or sometimes the carry they need for the shot they're trying to hit. So the main factors for causing this are the fact the club is longer in length and there's less loft on the club, so the consistency of the strike that they can generate, as well as the spin they can generate and the launch they can generate, is much lower than it needs to be. Does this sound like you? My recommendation is to go and try some hybrids. If you replaced your 4, 5 or maybe even 6 iron with some hybrids, what you'll find is the design of those clubs allow the ball to get up into the air much easier, much more forgiveness with strike, and with that added height and more forgiving strike, you're going to get better carry numbers and you're going to get a lot more control when it comes down on the other end. So the other way loft can hurt you is by having too much loft. So by having too much loft for your swing, you can generate too much spin on the ball, and that can then hurt distance. Certainly find that if you're one of those players that struggles to play in the wind, they either have a very high ball flight or a very high spin rate, and both those are going to not help you control that ball through the wind. What you need to try and do is find an optimum spin rate, and that means finding an optimum loft for your clubs, and that's something when you go and get a good fitting, they will be able to do for you. So like I said a little bit earlier, the opposite is also true. If you don't have enough loft on the club, then don't generate enough launch, enough spin, you're going to lose control when it lands the other end as well. So my main tip, if you're one of those two, is go and get a fitting and find your optimum loft. So that's it guys, that's my basic guide to what a loft is. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up down below. It really does help the channel, helps other guys like yourself find the videos that they're looking for. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below, and whilst you're there, hit the little bell icon and you'll get an alert to all the new videos I post. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.